3 weeks ago, a customer brought in his 2022 Honda Accord with only 62,000 miles on it. The engine was burning oil, the transmission was slipping, and the fuel economy had dropped by 6 miles per gallon. He'd done everything right: regular oil changes, dealer maintenance, premium fuel. So what went wrong? After 2 hours of diagnostics, I found the problem. 5 factory settings that Honda programmed into his car were slowly destroying the engine and transmission, and he had no idea. These weren't obvious problems. They were buried in menus most people never touch. But once I disabled them and adjusted his driving habits, his car transformed. Oil consumption stopped, transmission smoothed out, fuel economy came back. I've been working on Japanese cars for 19 years, and I've seen this pattern repeat with Toyotas, Hondas, Mazdas, and Subarus. The manufacturers enable features that sound great but quietly destroy your engine. Some of these settings exist to meet EPA fuel economy targets. Others are designed to make the car feel sportier on test drives, but none of them are good for long-term reliability. In this video, I'm exposing the 5 hidden settings that are killing your Japanese car's engine, and I'll show you exactly how to turn them off. If you drive a Toyota, Honda, Mazda, Subaru, Lexus, or Acura, you need to watch this entire video. Let's get into it. Setting number 1. Auto engine stop-start system. This is the big one. Nearly every Japanese car sold since 2018 has auto stop-start. The engine shuts off at red lights to save fuel, then restarts when you touch the gas pedal. Sounds eco-friendly, right? It's destroying your engine. Here's what's really happening every time that engine stops and starts. Your engine oil drains back into the oil pan when the engine sits at a stoplight. When you restart, there's a split second where metal parts are running without proper lubrication. That's called a dry start, and it causes more wear than 500 miles of highway driving. The starter motor isn't designed for this abuse. Traditional starters were built to start your car once or twice a day. Stop-start systems can cycle 20 to 30 times during a typical commute. I've replaced starter motors on 40,000-mile Hondas and Toyotas because stop-start wore them out. The battery takes a beating. Stop-start systems use enhanced AGM batteries that cost $300 to $400 to replace. Normal batteries cost $150, and these expensive AGM batteries still fail prematurely from the constant charge-discharge cycles. Engine mounts wear out faster. Every time the engine restarts, it shakes and vibrates. That stress breaks down rubber engine mounts in half the time. I've replaced engine mounts on 50,000-mile Mazdas that should have lasted 150,000 miles. But here's what really bothers me. The fuel savings are a joke. Independent testing shows stop-start saves maybe 3% to 5% on fuel in ideal conditions. That's $50 a year for most drivers. Meanwhile, you're spending $800 on a new starter and $300 on batteries every few years. How to disable it? On most Hondas and Acuras, there's a button on the center console labeled A with a circle around it. Press it every time you start the car. Yes, it's annoying, but your engine will thank you. For Toyotas and Lexus models, the button is usually near the steering wheel on the left side. Same drill, press it at the start of every drive. Mazdas have the button near the shifter. Press and hold for 2 seconds. Some newer models make it harder to disable permanently. You'll need to press the button every single drive. Do it. The extra 2 seconds is worth saving your engine. I know some people will argue that manufacturers designed these systems for reliability. Trust me, they didn't. They designed them to meet EPA fuel economy targets. The long-term reliability? That's your problem, not theirs. Setting number 2. Eco mode or Econ button. Almost every modern Japanese car has an Eco or Econ mode. The salesperson probably told you it improves fuel economy by optimizing throttle response and transmission shifts. What they didn't tell you is that it's choking your engine and destroying your transmission. Here's what Eco mode actually does. It delays throttle response to make you think you're accelerating smoothly. But what's really happening is you're lugging the engine. You press the gas, the engine bogs down under load, and the transmission hunts for the right gear. This causes carbon buildup on intake valves, especially on direct injection engines. The transmission shifts into higher gears too early. Eco mode tells the transmission to shift at 1,500 RPM instead of 2,500 RPM to save fuel. Sounds smart, but it puts massive stress on the transmission. The torque converter can't lock up properly at such low RPMs, causing slippage and heat. Heat is the #1 killer of automatic transmissions and CVTs. The air conditioning is crippled. Eco mode reduces AC compressor output to save engine power. On hot days, this means your engine works harder because you end up cranking the fan speed to maximum to compensate. More load, more heat, more wear. I've seen Honda Civics with destroyed CVT transmissions at 80,000 miles because the owner drove in eco mode constantly. The CVT fluid was burnt black from excessive heat. On Toyotas with 8-speed automatics, eco mode causes harsh downshifts and shuddering because the transmission is always in the wrong gear. Here's what you should do instead. Use normal mode for everyday driving. The fuel economy difference is negligible, maybe 1 mile per gallon at most. If your car has a sport mode, use that occasionally. Yes, I said sport mode. Here's why. Sport mode holds gears longer, which keeps the transmission fluid circulating and prevents overheating. Once a week, drive in sport mode for 10 to 15 minutes. Your transmission will last 50,000 miles longer. Never use eco mode in city traffic or hilly terrain. The constant lugging and gear hunting will destroy your powertrain. Save eco mode for flat highway cruising where the engine can maintain steady RPMs without strain. That's the only time it's beneficial. Setting number 3. CVT Simulated Shift Mode. If you drive a Honda, Subaru, or Nissan with a CVT transmission, your car probably has a manual mode with paddle shifters or a gear selector that lets you choose gears. Here's the truth. CVTs don't have gears. They're simulating shift points to make you feel like you're driving a traditional automatic. This feature is killing your CVT faster than anything else. Here's why simulated shifts destroy CVTs. A CVT works by continuously varying the ratio between two pulleys connected by a belt or chain. It's designed to operate smoothly across an infinite range of ratios. When you force it to simulate gears, you're asking it to hold fixed ratios that create heat and stress. The CVT belt slips more in simulated shift mode. Every time you shift with the paddles, the CVT has to abruptly change ratios. That causes belt slippage, which generates heat and wears down the belt surface. I've torn apart CVTs that had visible belt wear at just 60,000 miles because the owner used manual mode constantly. The pulleys overheat. CVTs rely on fluid circulation to stay cool. When you hold a fixed ratio, the fluid doesn't circulate as efficiently. The result? Overheating, burnt fluid, and premature failure. Honda and Subaru both know this, but they include the feature because it makes the car feel more engaging during test drives. What they don't tell you is that it cuts CVT lifespan in half. Here's what to do. Never use manual mode or paddle shifters unless you absolutely need engine braking going down a mountain. And even then, use it sparingly. Keep your CVT in drive and let it do its job. CVTs are designed to continuously vary ratios, not hold fixed points. If you feel like your CVT is hunting or slipping, that's a sign you need a fluid change, not manual intervention. I've seen Subaru Outbacks go 200,000 miles on the original CVT because the owner never touched manual mode. I've also seen Honda Accords need CVT replacements at 70,000 miles because the owner drove in manual mode thinking it was fun. Don't be that person. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. Setting number 4. Aggressive idle. Stop timer. This one's sneaky because most people don't even know it exists. Many Japanese cars have an idle timer that shuts off the engine if the car sits idling for a certain period. On some models, this timer is set way too aggressively, and it's causing problems. Here's where this becomes an issue. Remote start becomes useless. You start your car on a cold morning to warm it up, and the engine shuts off after 10 minutes. That's not long enough for the oil to reach operating temperature. You get in, start driving with cold, thick oil, and wear out engine components faster. Turbo cooldown is interrupted. If you have a turbocharged Honda, Mazda, or Subaru, you need to let the turbo cool down after hard driving. The idle timer shuts off the engine before the turbo oil temperature drops to safe levels. This causes coking, where oil bakes onto the turbo bearings. I've replaced turbos on 60,000-mile Subarus because of this exact problem. Battery drain issues occur. Some cars have overly sensitive idle timers that shut off the engine even when you're sitting in the drive-thru or waiting to pick up your kids. The constant restart cycles drain the battery and wear out the starter. How to fix this? Check your owner's manual for idle stop timer or automatic engine shutoff settings. Some models let you adjust or disable this feature through the infotainment system.
On Hondas, go to Settings, then Vehicle, then Auto Idle Stop,
and extend the timer or disable it completely. For Subarus with turbos, disable the feature entirely and always let the engine idle for 30 seconds after highway driving before shutting off. If your car doesn't allow disabling, invest in an OBD2 module that can reprogram this setting. It costs $50 and saves you from $2,000 turbo replacements. Setting number 5. Over-aggressive transmission learning mode. Modern Japanese cars have adaptive transmissions that learn your driving style. Sounds smart, but it's often too aggressive and causes long-term damage. Here's what's happening. The transmission computer monitors how you drive and adjusts shift points to match. Drive aggressively, and it holds gears longer. Drive gently, and it shifts early to save fuel. The problem? Most drivers are inconsistent. One day you're late for work and driving hard. The next day you're cruising gently. The transmission constantly adapts, which causes erratic shift patterns and increased wear. The learning algorithm prioritizes short-term performance over long-term reliability. If you floor it once, the transmission thinks you always want aggressive shifts. It starts holding lower gears, running higher RPMs, and generating more heat. Heat kills transmissions faster than anything else. The transmission never gets a chance to settle into a consistent pattern. It's always chasing your driving style, which means clutch packs and bands are engaging and disengaging more than necessary. I've seen this on Honda CVTs, Toyota 8-speeds, and Mazda 6-speeds. The transmission feels great for the first 50,000 miles, then suddenly starts slipping or shifting hard because the learning algorithm wore out the clutches unevenly. Here's how to fix it. Reset the transmission learning. On most Japanese cars, you can do this by disconnecting the battery for 15 minutes. This clears the adaptive memory and forces the transmission to start fresh with factory settings. Drive consistently for the first 200 miles after a reset. Smooth acceleration, no hard throttle, no aggressive braking. This teaches the transmission a gentle pattern. Reset it every 30,000 miles or whenever you feel harsh shifts developing. This prevents the transmission from learning bad habits. For Hondas and Acuras, there's sometimes a transmission reset option in the vehicle settings menu. Use it. On Toyotas and Lexus models, disconnecting the battery is the only option for most models. Some dealers can reset it with their scan tool, but they'll charge you $100 for a 30-second procedure. The hidden damage you can't see. Here's what really bothers me about these settings. The damage they cause isn't immediate. You won't notice anything wrong for 50,000 or 60,000 miles. But by then, the wear has accumulated. Your engine has experienced thousands of dry starts from stop-start. The cylinder walls have microscopic scratches that lead to oil consumption. Your transmission has been shifting at the wrong times in eco mode. The clutch packs are worn thin, and you're 10,000 miles away from a $4,000 rebuild. Your CVT belt has been slipping from simulated shifts. The surface is glazed, and it's about to let go completely. Your turbo has been shutting off before it could cool down. Carbon deposits are building up, and the bearings are starting to make noise. And here's the worst part. When these components fail, the dealership will blame you. You didn't change the oil enough. You drove too aggressively. They'll never admit that their factory settings caused the problem. I see this every single day in my shop. Customers who followed the maintenance schedule, used premium fuel, and drove carefully still end up with expensive repairs because they never knew these hidden settings were destroying their cars. Take control of your car. Modern Japanese cars are incredible machines. The engineering is world-class, the reliability is legendary, but the manufacturers have compromised long-term durability to meet EPA regulations, and marketing demands. Stop-start systems exist to juice EPA test numbers by 3%. Eco mode is there to hit fuel economy targets that look good on window stickers. Simulated CVT shifts make cars feel sporty on test drives. Aggressive idle timers reduce emissions during certification testing. Adaptive transmissions are designed to impress car reviewers during the first 10,000 miles. None of these features are designed with 200,000-mile reliability in mind. They're designed to get the car through the warranty period and nothing more. You need to take control. Disable stop-start. Drive in normal mode. Leave the CVT alone. Adjust the idle timer. Remap the transmission learning. These simple changes will add 100,000 miles to your engine and transmission lifespan. I've seen the difference firsthand. Customers who disable these settings are still driving their Hondas and Toyotas at 250,000 miles with original engines and transmissions. Customers who leave everything on factory settings? They're shopping for new cars at 120,000 miles because repairs cost more than the car is worth. The choice is yours. You can trust that the manufacturer has your best interests in mind, or you can take the steps necessary to protect your investment. I know which option I'd choose. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to watch this next video as I'm sharing insider tips to help you cut repair costs and keep your car running like new.